Hopefully, everybody had a great week. And as usual, we're going to start this call off with wins. Wins are a great way of sandwiching any of the issues you might have. So let's go off with some wins first of all. Anybody got a win they want to share? Awesome. Ben, let's go, brother.
All right, so one is personal, one is business related. So we're having a girl. It's my fourth baby. It's a girl. We just found out. Yeah. After
Congratulations.
we got it right. And
That is awesome.
the second one, I'm super pumped. I got two calls out of the blue for a couple quotes. I sent my first official quote. Dalen helped me out, so it was really good, really exciting. It's church. 17,000 square feet. They want seal coating and striping, and it's incredible the energy that I get from this group. So thank you, Dylan. Thank you, everyone, for you guys' help and encouragement. It's been awesome.
Congratulations. A new baby girl, eh? How many do you have
Yes.
now?
I got three boys and one girl.
It was like, come on, let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
I have it the other way where I have four girls and a boy.
Four girls and a boy. Yeah. It's like once you get it, it's like, man, I'm so glad I got the last one.
Yeah, it's so good. Right on. Congratulations. It's one of
Thank
your
you.
wives, I'm assuming, your kids.
Yes, absolutely. Just being able to been able to devote time with him, teach him how to work, and teach him self-reliance. We moved so many times, and I just want to provide stability and have more control for my family. So that is my why.
That's amazing. Congratulations, brother. I know
Thank you.
everybody on the screen's probably happy for you. So I'm going to say congratulations and good job, man. That's awesome. Keep it rocking. All right. That's a phenomenal win. I don't know anybody else wants to go after that. Let's go with another win. Anybody else? All right. If you guys ain't going, I'm going. Right on. Okay, so a win for me is typically a persistency win. Typically, what I find is difficult for me as a salesperson, I'm quite expressive. I like things to happen right now, and I'm not as patient as I should be. But one of the things I find with consistent, uh, connection with my team members, the people that I work with, I'm talking about contractors and DIYers, is that if I'm consistently following up with them and making sure that they have what they need, the timings are right for them, I'm solving their pain points, whether it's a timing thing, whether it's a project thing, or whether it's a pricing thing on their end. I'm always trying to make sure that I'm solving their pain points. And with patience comes this interesting thing that's basically filling that pipeline. Judd always says, fill your pipeline, put all those marbles in there, they'll start falling out the other end. And it happens like that. So over the last couple of days, it's just been like one of those things where everything seems to be like ding ding. All right, well, that worked finally. So I've had a really nice run over the last week here. So I appreciate everyone that's first of all supporting me, as well as the team here at Asphalt Kingdom, and yourself, obviously moving your business forward. So I appreciate all your guys' business and all the times I get to chat with you guys. So that's my win. Right on. Matt Phillips. I see your hand up there, brother. If Matt's away, looks like he's away from the phone. Let's go with Ruthie. I'll put you up first. Ruthie, go for it.
I can dig it. Can you hear me?
Okay, you betcha.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Good evening, and hopefully everything's going great. Uh, I just want to say it's not a huge win, especially after what's the fella's name that just went out? It's not super big,
Yeah,
but
Ben.
the
Yeah.
Ben, yes. And congratulations on the baby girl. The large win for me is not I got a driveway. There's like a patch. It's like a two-car drive. It's 2.5 car driveway, I guess. But there's a patch that needs like an overlay where she got it poured before, and there was a car sitting there, and for whatever reason, whoever poured that didn't move the car. They just paved around it. So I'm filling that in and going to seal coat for that's on the schedule for next Monday. Not next Monday, Monday after next. And then the big win though for me is the coaching. The coaching does work. I have everything here that I need. And if you're one of those people, I don't want to say this like me, but one of those people that just can't put it together with all the puzzle pieces and you're just still looking around, the coaching absolutely does work. So shout out to both Dylans that's on here right now, because they know they've spoken to me a great deal. And like it's just if you're struggling, if you just can't make it fit together, take advantage of the coaching. It does work.
Wow, that's awesome. I appreciate
Yeah,
you saying that. And it's interesting.
absolutely.
Hats off to you, Dylan's. Good job. How's Ruthie doing, Dylan?
She's killing it. She's being kind to herself, and we're getting her organized, and we've got goals, and we're going to be firing up some marketing this week. So we've got a call tomorrow, and I'm excited to get going. We're working on the 18-month plan. It's going to be big.
Mhm.
This is just the beginning, Ruthie.
That's awesome. That's
Cool.
fantastic. Congratulations, Ruthie. That's
Thanks.
amazing.
Yeah,
And by the way, I
appreciate
don't
it.
know if I've ever seen a driveway where somebody paved around a vehicle. That is incredible.
I told her I didn't want to bash the previous contractor, whomever did it. I said I would never do anything like that. I would tow it out because I'm sure whoever came to do the work had a truck. They could have just put chains on it and towed it out. But I said I'm not gonna bash them. What I can do is get it fixed for you and make sure it's looking great, long lasting, and safe.
That's awesome.
So
Congrats.
yeah, thank you.
Right on. Excellent. Mr. Phillips, you had your hand up as well. What
All
is up,
righty.
brother?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm out moving cones. We just did about a 200,000 square foot parking lot at a high school parking lot. And so I'm trying to keep cones here. They even though school is out, they're still think they could drive through the cones and go and park to play practice football. So it just is very irritating. So Matthias had to mute me there for a bit because I was cussing at people driving on my new seal coat. So if you say, does this ever happen? Yes, it does happen. Anyway, yeah. So this week, actually today, so this week's been a busy day. But I also got a call from a client today. We did a sixplex for him, and this particular client has him and his brothers own several apartment complexes, but he owns a sixplex. And so we did a sixplex for him last month and just did a knockout job. And he took his brothers over to look at it. And now they just awarded us with 3 large apartment complex parking. In total, it's close to 100,000 square feet of asphalt for seal coating and striping and the whole 9 yards. So
That's amazing.
just work hard. You take care of your clients, your customers, and you'll get rewarded for it. Keep professional, keep your place clean, look professional, and you'll be rewarded for it. So I'm blessed to say that we've been on track this year to meet our goal and everything. And so, yeah, it's grindstone and work at it, and you'll make things happen. So
That's awesome. That is amazing, Mr. Phillips. It's interesting. Over the times that I've seen you on here, you talk about the line, the time frame you've been here and the different efforts you put out, all the different things you work with, the different, subcontractors you work with. But I know one of the main things I see is consistency with you. So it's always a consistent grind. Get in and show up on the round table, get in and make sure you put your quotes in, show up for your customers, make sure you're protecting their property when guys are driving around on it. So I appreciate that consistency you show every single week. Thank you.
yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
For sure.
Thanks for sharing.
Speaking of subcontractors, my subcontractor just showed up to start painting. So I'm going to be listening. I may not be on screen here. So if you have any questions, holler at me. And if I can break away, I'll break away. So
Thanks, Matt. Appreciate
thanks.
it. All right, Jeff, welcome to the roundtable, brother.
Hey, thanks a lot. So
Absolutely.
yeah, I'm here in Raleigh, and I've been having a lot of trouble finding a performance partner like y'all talk about. I finally got a guy. He's from about an hour's drive away, but he's going to come in and do a job I bid on. I kind of did the thing where you bid it and then figure out how you're going to do it. So I bid for 30 cents a square foot. It's somewhere 92 to 10,000 square feet. I think 9,600 is the most accurate I can get. So he's getting $2,900. I'm going to help him He's going to teach me the ropes. He said asphalt's really easy. I can learn everything I need to know that in that one job. I'm kind of doubting that, but but yeah, I finally found somebody, and then I'm going to get to do the striping myself, and I got a good margin on that, so happy with that.
Fantastic. Congratulations. Your first one?
First with seal coating, yes.
Congratulations.
Thank
The
you.
first step's always the hardest one, but after you get that down, then it starts becoming a run and a slow trot or whatever, and then it's a sprint. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I hear the guys on here saying how busy they are, and I just wonder if that's like 60 hours of actually putting down asphalt a week, or if that includes sales calls and business and all that sort of stuff, collections. I'm not sure if right now, if I could get one job a week, I'd be pretty happy. But
Dylan, you want to throw your hat into that one, or what's typical week?
It depends obviously on your capacity, but ideally you want to have your entire crew working, 40 crew hours per week, right? And so I think as an owner, you're always going to be doing the things that, other people don't want to do, and you have to be willing to do things before you can have anybody else do it for you, right? So when you've got kind of the marketing machine filled up, we always talk about having a machine and not a hand cranked business. I think especially early on in a business, you're kind of constantly building that track ahead of the train or the locomotive, which is your crew. And your job is to keep the track in front of them. So it's probably the biggest lesson that you learn early on is that, just because you've got work this week doesn't mean you got work next week or this month and next month. So, building those lists and knowing who you're targeting and prospecting, and then consistently reaching out to them and making sure that you're hitting those points on a daily, weekly basis so that you've always got work in the pipeline, right? You don't want to be in that situation where, you run your guys hard for 60 hours one week and you've got no work for them the next week. It becomes really hard to have reliable staff at that point. So building the sales and marketing machine is what really kind of softens out those ebbs and flows as you kind of get into the groove of building a pavement asset empire, right?
Okay, thanks.
Awesome job, Jeff. Thank you. Just to touch on that a little bit more, Dylan, I had a question from a phenomenal guy. He's on the screen somewhere. Hey, there's Nelson right there. And it's about the marketing and the sales engine. When we're building those type of things out, do we have, those type of tools and so on here at Asphalt Kingdom we can help clients with? I just wanted to kind of delve into some of the smaller things that we don't always talk about, things like answering phones or getting leads, like lead gen. Can we provide lead gen to people? These are some of the questions that I get on probably a regular basis, and I know I don't always have the exact answer. So if I could get you to throw in some of your
for sure
meat and taters on that.
Short answer is yes, right? I mean, when we think about, what is a sales and marketing pipeline or a sales and marketing machine, you want leads to flow from left to right in your CRM. If you're using Dash, that's the pipeline. If you're using something else, you've probably got something that you're using to move cards from one side to the other, eventually getting it to I either won this job or I didn't win this job. So, on the front of that pipeline or the top of the funnel, you've got all of your proposals or all of your prospects there. You've got a prospect. In order to make a prospect somebody who can turn into business, you need to make sure that you have all of the right information. I'd say I hear this a lot is, well, I keep getting stonewalled by the gatekeepers. I can't get past the secretary, right? So if you're having trouble getting past the secretary, it's probably because you don't have enough information on the client. You're not able to link a specific person to a specific property. It's a very different conversation when you can reach out to somebody and say, hey, Matthias, I know you're over there at, 123 Burdon. I was just out in the parking lot. I was grocery shopping. I noticed that there's a couple of potholes. I'm not trying to sell you anything, but I'm a pavement asset manager. What I do is make parking lots safe, long lasting, and looking great. And I specialize in pavement assessments. Can I hook you up with a free pavement assessment just so you know where everything stands? And if you've got a budget and you want to do something about it, we can certainly help you. But I'd love just to let you know where you're at. You can't have that conversation unless you've got enriched data or validated data. So you need to be able to tie a person and a company to a property, and then you need an email, a phone number in order to make that marketable. If you don't have that information, you're not marketable. So if you need help with leads, we can get you those enriched leads. We do charge for it, but if that's what's bottlenecking your business, we can absolutely help there. When it comes to the outreach side of things, in terms of reaching out to these customers and driving the critical action points, which is ultimately you just want to get in front of people. You know, you want that opportunity to say, here's your quote, here's your proposal. Do you want to go forward with it or not? And ask for that job. Getting to that point is where a lot of us struggle. And I know that's where I really struggled when I first started my business about 10, 11 odd years ago or so. But getting to that point is what you're trying to do. And the missing piece there is we get into a groove where we get busy and where we don't have time to make the calls, right? So whether that's a person in your business that is doing that for you, or you're offshoring that, you know, in Colombia or the Philippines or something like that, that's always an option. Helping with hiring an appointment setter, from, you know, interviewing to, you know, where to post the jobs, to what makes a good appointment setter, you know, what script should they use. All of those are resources and all of those are services that we can provide. If you're not in the AK vault, a lot of that information is there. A lot of those processes are there. So long ramble, but in short, yes.
So when it comes to this is one of the things I find is, if I asked everybody on the screen right now, who's great and amazing at marketing and sales, who's like, that's their thing. And not too many people put their hand up, not too many. There'll be one or two, maybe three. But the big thing that happens is most guys are like, I want to go do this business. I want to go make a bunch of money. I want to go crush some jobs. And we can handle the backside of that to help you fund that, to really make sure you're moving through and providing that. And this way, and I think I've heard this before. I don't know if it was from you, Dylan, but it's almost like a seesaw if you don't create some form, whether it's a supporting partner or somebody that's working with you that creates the lead generation and does all the quoting, does all the, you know, that closing a business. And then there's the performance partner that's out there, you know, leading the crew, making sure things are done on time, making sure it's done quality. So if you're feeling that up and down in your business, maybe sometimes it's just better to pull somebody in and say, hey, I need some help with this. This is not my forte. Could you help me? And at least learn it, and then bring somebody else in on your team, whatever, that could take that time. It's the time. You said it, it's about time. You need to make time for those calls. And if you're not cutting that out in a day, you're going to make a mistake. You're going to end up coming to it where, like, you're at the end of the rope going, there's nothing there. And you'll lose people.
100%.
You potentially lose customers. So hopefully that helped a little bit. Anybody feeling that up and down in their business? Where they're feeling that? Yeah. Okay. Yes, Ben, you had a question.
So I clearly haven't gotten through that point. I'm still building my list, right? But my question is, when you live in a small town, you go through your, I don't know, what, 2,000 point of contacts, right? You hire somebody, an appointment setter, to go through those calls. I'm sure if the appointment setter is good, you can probably burn through those in like 500 a week, maybe. So that's 1 month worth of leads. What do you do once you run out of those leads? Do you recycle them, or do you expand to other towns and then recycle them again? Could you explain a little more the mechanics a little bit on how to do this?
It's a great
Sure.
question.
Yeah, so I mean, in terms of expansion, I always say that, you know, don't underestimate geography. Geography is hard to conquer, and you want to max your capacity in your current area. You know, I like to say within an hour of your office. You know, if you plopped a pin on a map and, you know, went 60 miles in every direction, that's your service area. That's where you should start. Not saying don't quote things that are outside of that, but make sure you're charging for travel if you're doing that. But your target market and your core market is going to be within that 60-mile radius. In terms of, you know, kind of how often do you call them? Like, we know in today's day and age that it takes 12 to 20 touch points to close a deal. If you're dealing with commercial clients, which personally, my experience, my opinion is that everybody should be striving to get into commercial, because that's where you can really generate some wealth and some income in this industry, you want to touch people every single year, multiple times a year. The squeaky wheel gets the oil is the phrase that we always used to say. So, if you're dealing with somebody and they're very abrasive and they really don't want to hear from you, respect that. But, whether it was an email, a text, a phone call, check-in, we were trying to touch people at least once a month, like on our commercial client list, whether that was calling out and saying, hey, I know we didn't win the work there in May, just wanted to say that everything looks awesome, right? Or hey, I noticed that, there's a little bit of sealant, that's failing over in that left-hand corner. I don't want you to have to jump through hoops to go and, get your guy back and do a little bit of warranty. We were in the area, we just touched it up for you, right? Finding different ways that you can build a relationship, because that's really what it is. There's no silver bullet for marketing and acquiring business. It's persistence and perspiration, right? Where, you just have to get into the mindset of, I'm going to build a relationship with Ben and I'm going to win his work. I might not win now, but I'm going to put myself in the best position to win in the future when somebody drops the ball. I call it the I've got a guy conversation, because when you're new to this business, everybody's got a guy. Don't talk down on that guy or say, I'm better than that guy. It's not the way that you're going to win work, but letting them know you're there, letting them know that you're there when somebody else drops the ball, and asking those clarifying questions when ideally you've gotten in front of somebody for a pavement assessment to introduce yourself and really build that opportunity. So how is your guy? Have you price checked your guy? Is he always on time and on schedule? Does he respond to your emails? If there's a mistake, is it hard to get him back? Is he hounding you about money a day after the job is done? Asking these clarifying questions to understand their experience and what they like when they have, work done on their properties is so important. So
Thank you.
Two things on that. I'll add to this for you. Number one, I know that there's some people out there, whether they're business owners or they're, managers or whatever, they won't respond to the first, second, or third, maybe fourth or fifth contact that you make with them. They're counting on the fact that somebody's going to consistently, like Dylan said, consistently reach out, be actively, working them, making sure that they mention certain things, ask certain questions. Hey, how's your asphalt projects this year? Whatever it may be, there's questions you can ask. And then at some point they're like, fine, it's almost like I give in. What is it that I can get? You know what I mean? And then you get the contact. The other thing is, if you listened closely to what Dylan said, was you need to make sure that you're very organized about this, because if you're not, you'll never hit any of those points. Why? Because you're just not organized enough to figure out that you haven't touched the guy 12 to 20 times. You'll never will, because it's not in your wheelhouse. You're not putting out those tasks that you need to do daily, those call outs, whether it's a sales guy that's doing that for you or you're doing it yourself. Those need to be very organized and structured in a system. And that's why AK Dash works so well. I'm obviously selling that product as well, but when it comes down to it, whatever program you use, it needs to be structured enough so you can actually tell whether you've actually reached out to this guy or not, or gal or not, whatever the property owner or manager is. And you have to be organized about it. It's a part of that consistency thing too. Hopefully that helps a bit.
Thank you, Matthias. I underestimated the little small gestures that Dylan was talking about, right? It's like, I just thought your parking lot, no big deal. Just keep me in mind. Just kind of like keep me on top of top of your list, right? Consistency. Makes sense. Thank you.
Awesome. Great. So we're about halfway through the hour here, but I wanted to make sure that I opened up for anybody else that had questions about anything going on in their business. If you had something that popped up one of the conversations already, but throw out any questions you have. Andrew, welcome to the call, brother.
Hey, not a question, but just on the following up type of deal. I made some pins just on the website on I forgot what it is. Here. What is it? Vistaprint. So I made some custom pins on Vistaprint. And this is me, Blackberry Asphalt Solutions, and my number, whatnot. And kind of, if you don't want to just be popping in after I give an assessment or whatnot, I'll show up again, or if they're not answering, then I'll show up and give them a card and 2 pens. Boom. Say, hey, just following up, see if you had any questions, or make sure that you received the assessment I provided, or, and then you give them something, little gift. And then it sits on their desk or whatever, or they throw it away, whatever. But it's part of marketing. And then also, if it's on their desk, if it's in their pen, little holder or whatever, it's they're going to see it all day, every day or whatever. So, um, just kind of a little thing that I've been doing, and we'll see what happens. So.
Yeah, I would never underestimate small gestures like that, whether it's a mug or a pen or like it could be anything almost, things that are visible.
I never give my pens on the first time that I meet a client. They'll only get a card with all my information, and then I'll follow up with a phone call, and then the pen will come after so that's kind of another touch point.
Yeah,
so
I agree. When I was doing sales in on another lifetime, I was working in a mining scenario, and one of the things that I do is when it was larger projects, if I knew I had the opportunity at least sitting there available to me, I would stop by now and again with just a big those boxes of coffee and a bunch of cups, bring it to the you talk about gatekeepers. They love gifts and they love being recognized. And so bringing that in, hey, this is for you guys at the office here. I know that I haven't got anything yet, but at the same time saying that, I just want to make sure you guys knew that we're still available. We're still working on, getting everything, but just having that little, even $10 gift card, something for coffee or donuts or something like that. It makes such a huge impact. You don't have to do it to everybody. You're right. But to anybody that's open in that space where you've quoted, it's a huge gift. It's huge. Awesome. I don't know if it was Kingsley or Dylan first, but Dylan, go for it.
I was just going to add something there on Andrew's comments and just build on yours with the gift side of things. I know we live in a world where you can't send your kids to school with peanut butter and jam sandwiches anymore. But one of the most impactful things that we used to do back in the day was Christmas cards with chocolate truffles. We'd go to Costco, buy a couple $100 worth of chocolate truffles, handwritten card, and we would really focus in on those clients that maybe we weren't working with or weren't doing as much work as we would like to do with them. And the amount of feedback and positive feedback that we got on those was amazing, because I think a lot of the time they probably got given to the gatekeeper, right? So we'd call and be like, oh, Everline, yeah, let's move you through onto Andrew there, right? So just to build on what you're saying, don't underestimate the little things and things that people can touch. That's the other thing. A $10 gift card in a lot of ways is very non-personal, and you do have to be careful with the dollar value of things, but put a dollar value on truffles or some honey or coffee, something that they're going to use, something that's going to be valuable in the office, really goes a long way.
That's awesome. I agree. Cards are hard to throw away, by the way. I don't know about you, but I find it really hard to, if somebody gives me a handwritten card, I read it and I'm like, I can't just throw it in the garbage can. Okay, it's going to sit here for a while. It still sits on my nightstand or something. So,
in the shoebox.
Right, Kingsley. Yeah, that too. Kingsley, you're up next, brother.
Hey, hi, thank you. Sorry, it's evening here. Good evening, everyone. Dylan, hi. Dude, I want to appreciate you guys for everything because I cannot give up earlier in this whole project. But the last conversation we had kind of like, gave me a second thought. And with Dylan giving me access to the AK vault, that really kind of, I kind of find a lot of strength in those resources in there. And yeah, I would have pushed more about some personal issue that I needed to deal with. But I just want to say thank you for everything. And I just got a call from one of the clients that I submitted a proposal, and they just awarded the painting job and the pressure washing. And looking forward to do the seal coating next year. So I'm kind of excited for that. And so it's all about persistency and you guys' encouragement, And I have a follow-up question on this as well. I live in Toronto. You know how our weather is here. So I just want to your experience, how do I plan? Like, I want to go. I'm gonna go bigger next year, but I just want to, see what I can catch on, with the remaining days in the summer here. And what is your advice on the operational and the marketing strategy that I should focus on in terms of closing the year and planning for 2026 stronger?
Dylan, you got that one? Like
Sure.
you worked in Alberta, like it's like the coldest place
That's
on the planet.
hey, that's real winter, not none of this Quebec or Ontario winter like Kingsley and Gabriel did.
Uh,
That's true.
Well, I think the biggest thing is obviously understanding that, there's going to be less revenue in the off season. So, understanding when you're planning, especially for 2026, okay, I've got so many working days to make my goals this year. You're going to lose a few to rain and weather. So having a good strategic plan to understand, okay, this is my revenue number. This is what I'm, estimating that I'm going to average for an average job size. So, total number of jobs divided by number of jobs. And then you're actually able to forecast, right? So understanding that is critical so that you can understand who you need to target in the off season and really start to build those relationships and do the business development side of things. So a lot of property management companies, commercial clients in general, we still live in a world where most people's year end is going to be December 31st. So their budget is going to reset in January. So being able to reach out to them, be able to get some budgetary pricing in, they're not going to hold your hand to the fire on that pricing, but they've got pricing. And just even being willing to give them budgetary pricing so that they're in a position to win with their bosses and look good. That's what I recommend that you're doing in the off season. Don't go to Mexico and take 3 months off. By all means, go take a week off and relax and, recharge the batteries. But the off season, when the snow is on the ground, is marketing season, because when the season kicks up and you're, full blown into production, you've got a lot less time to put together quotes and to put together, marketing calls and stuff like that. So my experience in Canada, quoting really starts to pick up in February. That's tender season. And you're going full tilt until, early April. And then the POs start to come out. And then operationally, you're trying to slot everything onto the schedule. So Canada is a very unique market. It's similar to, what you have in the winter climates in the US as well. But really focusing on the business development and having a good strategic plan and understanding your numbers is what I'm focusing on in the off season if I'm in a seasonal market.
Okay, I have a follow-up question, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Yes. So for this, I've secured the job for pressure washing and painting. So what is the standard? What's the next stage for me to send them an invoice? And what is the standard? Do I need to get like a 50% deposit or an invoice? What is the standard there?
So invoicing terms are typically going to be like net 30 or 30 days from invoice for payment. If you lack the cash flow to be able to kind of handle that cash, then you should probably ask for a deposit. Deposits are very common in the US, between 25 and 50%. In Canada, depending on the style of project, we would take deposits, especially if it was a bigger seal coating or asphalt project, where a huge portion of our job cost was tied up in materials. If it was typically under like $2,500, a lot of the time we would just go do that without a deposit. But again, it just depends on your kind of cash situation, what you're comfortable taking on. I always use, purchase orders or POs. My rule was like PO or no. I wasn't going to schedule you on my calendar until I had a PO or a deposit.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Just adding to that, sometimes you'll find that companies that work on like a corporate structure or what have you, ones that do POs and so on, they have specific requirements that they need to meet at the end of the fiscal year. You mentioned this briefly in your chat, Dylan. And one thing they don't ever want to do is not spend the money, because then they don't get it in their budget next year. So if if you're coming towards the end of the season, you're like, okay, I need to get into the marketing and sales side of things and just scheduling for next year. Sometimes they'll end up paying for stuff that fiscal year so that they can have it put down the next season because they may have a bit of a budget left over. So always make sure you're connecting and talking to the right person when it comes to the fund side of things, not just, let's say, the facility manager, but also if they put in talk, in communication with somebody in their finance office or something, sometimes you can delve deeper into that by asking the right questions. Hopefully that helps a little bit too.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Sweet. Matt, you had your hand up there earlier. I think you were probably trying to add something in on that previous conversation. Am I right?
Yeah. So on that, so we do the similar thing here where we get a 50% normally with an approved. So we send them an email bid and they have to approve it. That way I've got it's a signature that, hey, they approve that job. If I get that, then I will tentatively put them in the schedule. If it's somebody that I haven't worked with them in the past, then I will require that deposit. But if it's an ongoing customer that I know they pay and I know the company owner and everything, then I'll just, if they say, hey, we're sending out a check, then I'm not going to say don't do it. But if they don't send out a check, I'm not going to schedule them. So it's your comfort level. And if you have the whereabouts or the means to float that, in case there is an issue. But if you don't have that comfort level, then by all means collect that deposit. There are some states, I think Nevada is one of them, that you can't collect a deposit on a contract on a service type collection because there was so much scam and fraud going on. And so just you got to do your homework for your city, town, or state, or province, wherever you live. So make sure you do your homework on that. But yeah, once you get that, your proposal down, and hopefully it's not a handwritten carbon copy, 3-part carbon copy from Staples or something. So guys, invest in something, AK Dash. I've had a couple AK Dashers guys that have sent me proposals from that, and so I really think it's professional looking if you have that dialed in. So anyway, that was my 2 cents. And before that, I was talking about when you were talking about marketing and giveaways and such. So I have these in my truck that I carry with me all the time. They're little stress ball cones, traffic cones with my information on it. Receptionists like those. The gatekeepers that Matthias was talking about, they like those things at their desk because they've got stress. So anyway, those are a good thing to be top of mind awareness. So you're first on the list when there's somebody complains about, oh, we got a pothole or something. They're like, who do we call? And there's that sitting on the corner of their desk to say, oh, call Matt because he can get that taken care of for us. So anyway, that's my 2 bits.
That's sweet. Awesome. Thank you, Matt. Ruthie, you're back in. Let's go.
I am back in. My eyes, I lit up when I seen those little. Matt, you had to tell me where you got those from. Those little
I knew that was the
cones.
question.
Oh my gosh, they're so adorable. And is it Ben? No, not Ben. Andrew with Black Bear. I like the pen idea too. That's awesome. I'm gonna check them out, Vistaprint. But please, Matt, tell me where you got those things.
Yeah, it's been a while ago. I think I bought 500 of them for a trade show that we were doing, and
okay.
It was one of them. So in one of my business networking groups, it was from them. So just you could Google them. Now you've seen them. You know what they look for at trade shows. The trade shows you see, there's some that look like a little chunk of coal that a lot of the blacktop guys use, and it looks like a black chunk of coal, and they say, oh, we're seal coat, blacktop professionals or asphalt professionals, and it looks like a chunk of asphalt. So there's different ones on there, but now you got that an image there to spark interest. Pens, apparel, shirts that, all my guys wear these long sleeve shirts on the back of it. It brands my company. But just, an investment like this, all it takes is one person to see it at Home Depot or something, walk in and say, oh, I need my driveway done. And you go do a $5,000 driveway to pay for, I think I spent $1,200 on shirts, annually is what I allot for, about $1,000. And I give these to my guys as long as they're working hard. You can tell the ones that I'm not happy with because their shirts are dirtier and not kept up, but the ones that I'm happy with have brand new shirts every other week. So anyway, so that's just the way I roll it. So
I don't lie. Do I want to have
Thanks,
a clean
man.
shirt around you? That's awesome.
I really want to
That's
see a
awesome.
team photo now, Matt. We got to know.
The high vis team.
yeah, I'll send something over to Judd and he can post it or whatever somehow. I'll get you something, Dylan.
Using something like Grok or ChatGPT to give you ideas on swag is a great idea. I just thought of it. I was like, man, I use it for everything else. Why don't I use it for something like that? So you can find places where they sell that too. So whatever it is, whether it's a cone, I like the cone idea. It's great. The coal is kind of cool too. But anything that'll show up and represent you as your business, that's awesome. Great. All right. Anybody else have a question?
Hey,
Comment?
Matthias, I was also going to mention too, for some newcomers and if you're new to the industry of owning, as an entrepreneur, having your own business, starting your own business. So the gal, I remember the gal that got me these cones are in I'm part of the Home Builders Association here in my city. So there's different associations. I know there's like BNI Network and different network groups and contractor groups that you can go to. And there's usually a performance partner that does that marketing material. You may be able to find it cheaper on Vistaprint, but if you use them, they're more likely to refer you for business. So just keep that in mind. You may pay 10 or 15 cents more an item or something, but you're going to get return if you get into those network groups. So
that's amazing. Great info. So we're heading into the last day of the month. What's on everybody's mind? Closing deals, right? Like it's closing. It's about right now. One of the things that I learned early on in my sales career is that if you can close something now, close it now. And if I got to do something different, close it now. If I got to add some value, close it now. Because I got next month to fill, but this month's still here. I got one more day. I got to hit my targets. So who's got targets set already for this month? Anybody have a target set for this month? They need to close something? Dylan, yeah, Dylan for sure. Anybody else? I got targets for this month too. If I don't close what I need to this month, next month doesn't matter. It's just that's next month. I still got a day. So make sure that one of the big things that I do is if I can add a value item, if we can close this before the end of the month, I got this for you here as well. It creates some urgency. It creates the FOMO, right? It creates there's value in giving in some way, whatever that may be. Anybody have any good ideas on closing toward the end of the month? Anybody? Who's really amazing at sales here? Gabrielle, let's go.
I mean, can you hear me well?
Yes.
I mean, I guess like I started, I was doing the coaching with Burdon. One thing that's at least it looks like it's working right now. It's just speed. So recently we started investing in buying leads, and I would say honestly 95% of them were the first to call. So I try to do the first call. If they're urgent, I try to get the quote within 24 hours. If not urgent, at least by the weekend, because I would spend all day doing the quotes, or at least 48 hours. And like, especially for the commercial plans, so the bigger projects, like we'll send the proposal as soon as possible with professionally, call them immediately as I sent it, just to follow up and make sure they got it and they check their email. And now for the ones that I know are closing soon, we're printing them copies and meeting in person, because you can have a proposal, it's beautiful, everything, but people are visual and people are social. Um, it's hard to believe that someone would pay more just for that connection, but they do. And like when people say sales is 70% the connection that you have with the person, it's really true. Like I can within the next 5 minutes, like within the first 5 minutes, I can tell if a client's possibly gonna close or not. If I'm getting along well with them, like I try to adjust and I know, hey, most likely this is gonna be worth it. But I get clients that the energy doesn't match at all. I might have the best price, but just the like, for whatever it is, the energy they have a different kind of personality. And I'm like, yeah, I know this kind of client, we're not gonna, it's gonna be like I try to adjust, but you can kind of read the client. And so it's the same thing with commercials. Like if you can meet them in person, you can show them everything in person, it's a lot better and you're more likely to get the connection, even if someone else might come in cheaper.
That's a great point. I like what you said at the beginning too. One of the big things about closing business is if somebody reaches out to you or is requesting information or just asking questions, you are 100 more times likely to close that contact if you connect with him within the first 5 minutes. If you wait till after 10 minutes, it's a lot less. Customer expectations, basically 82% of customers would like something responded to within 10 minutes. That's their expectation. So if we don't reach back out, so anybody that's got a phone on them and they're doing a project and you don't hear the phone call, you're probably going to lose your customer or the opportunity because you haven't reached back to them. So my question was in regards to awesome lead out, Gabriel, was if you're not answering your phone, who is? Do you have a service or somebody that answer that phone? Do you have an AI agent even answering the phone and making a schedule for that, or saying, hey, I'm going to book you in, he's on a call right now, I'll call you, I'll have him call you right back? Like that's an expectation that you can meet with something very simple. Anybody here have somebody answering their phones for them yet or no? Definitely Dylan as well. Anybody else? I think it's a key part of business. You too, Mark? Okay.
I'll add to that. I'm new to the group, but I own an asphalt company and a couple of others. But we put an AI answering service in place, and it's phenomenal. I mean, she asks great questions, and she actually books appointments, and I'm just kind of blown away. So it's a lot cheaper than an answering service, and we just couldn't get to all the calls.
Who's doing that for you?
It's actually they originally started in the skincare beauty industry. So it's Lauren like skincare. I think if you Google that, it comes up. But now they've expanded into home services, and it's been pretty good. Yeah, there's a lot of them out there. Yeah.
I was wondering if it was AK Dash because we have that built into AK Dash as well. So I just was asking. That's very cool.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Cool. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for the feedback, brother. Gabriel, you got some more to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention, man. I feel another important point, and I talked with Dylan on this is.
Sorry, I can't hear you, brother.
Can you hear me?
There we go. That's better.
Can you hear me better now?
Yeah.
I said another point is I talked to Dylan on this is using your advantages. So if you're starting small, what do you have that other companies don't? And I see it all the time. All the performance partners that we work with, if I can't get on the phone with them when I have a project, imagine a new client. Like I wish I was joking, but I'm not. Like that 80% of them are like, oh, I don't have time. It's a waste of time. I don't have time for me. I don't have time to do that. I don't have time to do this. They don't, and that's true. If they're a bigger company, they're so booked that they don't have time. So if you're the one that takes the time to talk to the client, then you're gonna get you can get market share that way. So I think that was the other point relating to speed and making that connection is that you can use your advantages. Maybe you're not a big company, maybe you don't have a reputation of 25 years, but you're personal, you show more professionalism. So it's kind of playing those different factors, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. Speed to lead is a huge thing. We talk about that almost every single day in our morning meetings. If you don't connect with your customer as soon as they reach out to you or as soon as they're interested in something, they're off to the next thing, right? How often do you sit on something, you're like, oh, okay, cool. And then next time a video comes up with something else that's fun and you're like, oh, you're off the topic, right? So if you can connect with that person, we get notified immediately when one of you guys jumps on our website. I'm like on it going, hey man, how's it going, Gabe? I saw you jump poking around our website. What is it you were looking for, brother? Did you find everything you needed? Was there something I can assist for you? how did that project go the last time? It's just an opening, right? It's that beautiful opening. And most people like that personal contact. They will like to be called versus just texted. Don't get me wrong, the new generation likes text versus call. I get that. And it's probably growing more. But still, the number one ability for us to call and connect with people is dialing a phone and connecting with someone. And even if it's just leaving a message. And it should be upbeat and fun and happy and energetic because it's infectious. We had a call this morning with Judd and he was just jacked. He's on a run. He just was finishing off an 8-mile run. I'm like, man, this guy's insane, but it's awesome. It made me want to get up and run even with my surgeries on my knees and such. But it's amazing when you connect with people immediately. Awesome.
Just
All
gonna
right.
throw it out there, Matthias. One thing that not enough people do, and it's so silly, but just answer the dang phone. So many guys don't answer the phone. Answer
I
the
don't
phone.
know this number. I don't know this number. I ain't answering. Voicemail. Yeah. AI agents are great for that. If you're even if you're on a call.
Even if you're on a call.
I'm hearing some feedback.
Hey, I'll add to the conversation. Someone asked, can you hear me? Yeah, someone
can hear you
asked,
now, yeah.
what do you do? It's the last day of the month. What do you do? And and I'm a big proponent of that. And now we have a sales team, but I worked for a guy once, only ran contests the first like 5 days of the month and the last 5 days of the month because he realized that if you once you see that momentum, and he was always top of his game, and whoever does well the first 5-10 days of the month, you're going to carry that through the month. And so, we're running a contest now to get to a certain dollar amount with our team, and and it's a good contest. But I didn't start it till 3 or 4 days ago, and I said, hey, we're a little short of our goal. If you guys can do more follow-ups, just close. Whoever said close, right? And I said, hey, just close those last deals. If we can get to that number by, we've got till tomorrow. We're gonna have I think I did a nice breakfast at one of our meetings, or we'll go to a restaurant or something. It doesn't have to cost a lot, but it's just kind of neat to see the energy in our meeting this morning. And they're about 15 grand short, and I was giving up, and they weren't. And that's a good culture. They're like, hey, we're not done, buddy, so we're gonna get it. And so I think there's a lot to that. Was a good question. What do you do the last couple of days of the month? I don't know who asked it, but so it's good stuff.
Yeah. We use it in our morning meetings. Two of our guys are like just chipping away at the top spot and they're within like a couple grand and they're just back and forth. One guy gets one and he's like, and we do these bells every time we close a deal. We're like, hey, here's some bells. We all go, hey, good job, excellent work. And it's interesting how it just motivates you to like, okay, what's next? What do I got what do I got to do? What activity can I, do to generate more competition? Friendly competition is amazing. If you have contests, they're phenomenal, especially for internal. I'm not saying you'd obviously have that with customers, but at the same time saying that internally, it'll definitely help you move your business forward for sure. If you got more than one person selling, 100%. Great. Anybody else got a question for us? We got about 5 more minutes here. Who's new on the screen here? Who hasn't been here before? Anybody on here that's new? No, we're all veterans.
No, this is my first time. I'm the guy that keeps talking. No, it's my first time. I've had you on my calendar for a few weeks, but I just jumped on. So I'm driving, or I'd show you my beautiful face, but I better not.
Sweet, right on. Appreciate it, brother.
I'm new too.
New, right on.
Yeah,
Nelson Rios, yes, sir.
Yes. How
awesome,
are you?
Man. It was awesome chatting with you today. I find
yes.
that when you get somebody that's already understands what they're looking to do and set for a goal and a target, man alive, it's fire time. Let's go. Thanks for jumping on the call, man. It's been awesome seeing you here in person too. Excellent. Anybody else got a question or comment? Share something this week.
I got a call out. I hope Gabe doesn't get mad at me, but I know we were talking to Gabe Scurry a couple of weeks ago and he had like 25 appointments or assessments set up off of like a week of call-in, just having a great kind of first draft list. I'd love to hear a quick update if you don't mind, just on how that's materialized for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, sorry.
So I have one guy who is actually, and this is a question too, because I really don't have references because I haven't really done any jobs per se, but I have a guy who's ready to sign the deal, but he wanted some references. So my other business is a facility services business, and this is kind of a leg off of it. So I sent him some references to that, and hopefully that'll pan out. I haven't heard back from him. That was 2 days ago. But I did talk to a lady today that has 2 hotels. And just to kind of tell you how the system it does work. So she said that the competition come in cheaper than my bid. So I said, okay. I said, well, let's talk about it. I said, what services is he providing to you? And she said, well, I really don't know because his bid just wrote on a piece of paper. I said, okay. She said, it's nothing like yours. I can see exactly what you're charging for each specific thing. I said, okay. I said, so there's a few things. Maybe his price is cheaper because I don't know what method he uses. I don't know, what materials he's using. I don't know if he's giving you 1 coat or 2 coats. I said, but I can tell you what we do. We spray and we put down 2 coats. You get what you pay for. We don't dilute our sealer. We get it straight from the manufacturer. We bring it straight to the property and we put it down. I said, and we back up our work. Everything we do is guaranteed. And we'll come back and inspect it, make sure that you're satisfied. I said, and you get what you pay for. And we might not be the cheapest, but we're going to give you what you pay for. And at the end of that call, she said, well, I have 2 of these hotels that you've given me prices on. She said, that guy wasn't very nice to me. She said, so I think I'm going to recommend that we go with your company. I said, well, that'd be great. I'll be looking forward to helping you if we can. So hopefully, that's 2. That'll be, both of those are like $15,000 jobs. So that's 30,000. The other one's, a little cheaper. It's like 10. So that'd be about 40 grand. If I could close that in a week, hey, that's a major win for me. So
Huge win. Congrats. That's huge, man. Like to go from I haven't done a single job to, I'm going to fire up the marketing machine. My daughter, my son, myself, the wife, the grandkids, for all I know, we're going to go out and we're going to make some calls and, to turn that into 25 opportunities and to already be getting some traction, like huge props, man, because like, you're putting in that perspiration and persistence, right? And there's no substitute. I wish there was, but there is none. So congrats. It's huge.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate all the support, and hopefully this will pan out good, and we'll just keep pushing and we'll see what happens, man.
I see good things in your future. Can see those northern lights behind you, but I think it's the winds of change and some good things are coming. So thanks,
Yeah,
kid.
it's
Appreciate
interesting.
you.
Yes, sir.
It's interesting when you start looking at just putting your, head into it, just dig into what the coaching is telling you. It's funny how if you just repeat the same thing over and over again, you can still get the same results. So we've got that yellow brick road paved over the last 22 years. Just repeat the actions and you'll get the same results. It may be slightly different, but they're going to be very close to what you're going to expect from any given call. So if you're throwing out, 50 quotes and you get back 12 and a half of them, that's probably pretty much, par for the course. If you get back, 15 of them, you're doing a little better than usual. And if you're getting 20 of them, you're doing amazing. You're doing sales closing, or maybe you need to raise your price. One of the 2. But that's amazing. Matt, you're going to finish us off today here. What's going on?
Yeah, I was just going to say, just guys, that just like those 25 calls and those jobs you got from there, that's the beginning of your journey. We're in, we're getting repeat business and stuff where they're reaching out to us. So you perform, be that top notch. And then you start getting repeat business, repeat customers. And it just, your business model is just so much easier to know that, hey, this year we're going to be reaching out to these 10 people that we did 3 years ago and get that job. So it's, your sales and marketing is changing because you've just got that ongoing business keep coming to you. So That's what you have to look forward to for you guys that are starting out new. If you set it up, do it right, you'll be happier and have a more successful business. Don't be that fly by night that writes a bid on a paper and then doesn't respond when they call and say, hey, I've got an issue, and you say, oh, I'm not going to call them back. Take care of your customers. They'll be customers for, this is an industry, this is a business that is a lifelong industry, lifelong business. Repeat, 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 and making continual revenue from customers if you keep them happy. So that's what I want to finish off with.
It's almost like an annuity if you treat them the right way, really, because it's just going to come back and come back and come back and come back. That's
Yep.
awesome. That's awesome. Excellent. Well, I've had a great time. Anybody learn anything today? Anybody pull a nugget or two out of the hat? Fantastic. I love hearing about wins. I really do. Just my favorite thing about anything is just hearing people win. And I tell you right now, it creates a realization in people that are new that this is actually the thing. You can actually do this. So I love that you guys share that stuff. It's phenomenal. And I know from experience that people that come through here and grow and create businesses, they don't end up showing after a while because they're so busy they can't even jump on the call anymore. So keep moving your guys' businesses. Do what we talked about. And I am looking forward to seeing you guys all next week. Same time, same place on the Asphalt Kingdom Round Table. Appreciate you all. Thank you for your help. Dylan, you did an awesome job as co-pilot today. Dylan, thank you for your coaching experience. Matt, thanks for throwing things in there. Gabe, thanks for sharing. Everybody, I appreciate you all. We'll see you next week.